We've all seen the alien invasion movies. Swarms of ships descending, skies burning, cities reduced to ash. And when hope fades, cue the dramatic music and an inspirational speech. The United States saves the day. But here's a question we rarely ask. What happens when we're the ones arriving? When humanity finally develops interstellar travel, will we be the invaders? We'd like to believe we wouldn't, but history says otherwise. And welcome to my brand new channel, The Omega Signal, devoted to deep space speculation, alien possibilities, and uncomfortable truths about our future among the stars. And if you've taken the time out of your day to listen, then thank you. If you enjoy this descent into speculative dread, please consider liking and subscribing so we can keep exploring together. And now that my e-begging is done, let's dive in. We are a warrior species. Our bodies and brains evolved for combat. Binocular vision, depth perception, opposable thumbs, adrenaline responses, the mental capacity to coordinate, strategize, and dominate. We weren't just capable of violence, we were engineered for it. We are apex predators with nuclear teeth. From the moment we started walking upright, we fought for what we wanted: resources, shiny metal objects, territory, mates, and power. Our first weapons were fists. Then came rocks, clubs, blades, axes, arrows, ballistic weapons, tanks, and fighter jets. We used nature to create unnatural things, turning raw elements into tools of destruction. Even missiles that could cross the globe with terrifying accuracy. But the instinct behind all of it never changed. Tribalism wasn't just survival, it was wiring. We learned to protect those who looked like us, thought like us, and to fear, reject, or destroy everything else. We like to tell ourselves we've evolved beyond our violent beginnings, that we've become civilized, enlightened. But evolution doesn't erase instinct, it just refines it. It wraps it in better clothes and gives it a smartphone. We still compete, still divide, and still dominate. The only thing that's changed is the scale. Once we fought with sticks and fire, then we built empires, crossed oceans, colonized continents. We didn't stop because we grew wiser. We stopped because we ran out of land. And now we look up. We dream of alien planetscapes. We wonder what kind of life might exist beyond our world. We romanticize the stars, as if the stars will romanticize us. We think that we'll go as explorers, but we'll go as we always have, armed, organized, and hungry. Those instincts never left. They're just waiting for the next opportunity. So what happens when we find more? What happens when the stars become the next frontier? The same minds that once looked at a neighbouring tribe and saw a threat will look at alien worlds and see resources, opportunity, and weakness. No one thinks they're the villain. Every empire had a reason, every war a justification. And in the void of space, we'll write new ones. The instinct doesn't go away. It just puts on a helmet and boards a starship. And the scariest part, history already shows us exactly what the future would look like. Look through the pages of human history and you'll see a clear pattern. Expansion followed by exploitation. Domination masquerading as destiny. When Alexander the Great marched east, he claimed land in the name of unity, knowledge, and civilization. But what followed was conquest, bloodshed, enforced culture, and the reshaping of entire worlds to mirror his vision. The Roman Empire promised order and prosperity, roads, aqueducts, commerce, but peace came through subjugation, and those who resisted were crushed beneath the boot of progress. The Ottomans carved a vast realm across 3 continents. Through war, diplomacy, and religious control, they expanded a multi-ethnic empire that thrived on power, trade, and control of strategic worlds. And in more recent history, the Soviet Union spread its influence across Eastern Europe, not through invitation, but through force, through tanks in the streets and flags raised where choice was never an option. Different flags, different languages, but same pattern. None of these empires believed they were doing wrong. They believed in destiny, in greatness, in their right to shape the world and others around them. When you're the one writing history, conquest becomes enlightenment, resistance becomes ignorance, and victory becomes virtue. If we were to expand into the stars, history suggests we wouldn't arrive with open hands. We'd arrive with flags, weapons and laws, ready to impose a vision of order and progress. Because history doesn't lie, and history says we don't explore, we conquer. Now imagine it. A human colony ship enters orbit around a habitable world. The planet is rich in resources. There's already life down there, primitive, intelligent, maybe even spiritual in its own way. But they don't have spaceships. They don't have weapons like us. They don't even know what's coming. We could make contact, learn, and coexist. But instead we'll evaluate the minerals, the atmosphere, the viability for terraforming. We'll file the species under non-sapient. We'll rewrite the rules until conquest is rebranded as stewardship. We won't call it an invasion. We'll call it uplift, preservation, and assistance. And we'll land. The world becomes a waypoint, a colony, a name in a database. Its history forgotten, its people either displaced or absorbed, its sky no longer theirs. The species we encounter might survive, but not as they were. Their stories rewritten, their cultures archived and dissected, their futures shaped not by evolution, but by occupation. We'll tell ourselves we had to do it, because progress is always justified after the fact. We won't go into the galaxy as heroes. We'll go as a thing we always feared was out there. We won't be the visitors from the stars. We'll be the lessons they warn their children about, if they're allowed to remember at all. And maybe, just maybe, that's why the stars are silent. Of course I could be wrong. It's possible that when we finally take to the stars, we'll be better than we were. That we'll carry not our weapons but our wisdom. That instead of conquering we'll connect. Maybe the long night of history has taught us something. Maybe the pain of our past has seeded empathy, patience, and restraint. Maybe we'll build not empires, but alliances. Perhaps we will see the life we encounter as equal and sacred, worth learning from and not exploiting. And there are signs that this change is already underway. There are uncontacted tribes on Earth right now, like the Sentinelese, who remain untouched by modern civilization, because we've chosen to protect their autonomy and not violate it. Governments and non-profits fund the preservation of indigenous cultures, languages and heritage, not to erase them, but to help them endure. International cooperation exists to protect fragile ecosystems, to regulate space exploration, to define peaceful use of shared frontiers. We even risk our lives to save species that offer us nothing in return, like orangutans, whales, snow leopards, and pandas. We've seen soldiers form ceasefires to rescue animals. like during the 1914 Christmas truce of World War I, where opposing troops not only exchanged greetings, but helped care for wounded animals caught in the crossfire. More recently in war-torn Ukraine, temporary ceasefires have been arranged to allow the evacuation of pets and zoo animals from shelled and occupied regions. These moments, small, fragile and rare, speak to something deeper within us. Take the coral reefs of the Great Barrier Reef, or Indonesia's Coral Triangle, ecosystems devastated by bleaching events and pollution. Scientists, divers, and conservationists devote entire careers to monitoring and reviving these underwater worlds. In parallel, entire communities rally to protect ancient forests that they may never walk through, from the Amazon to the Congo Basin. Not for power, not for gain, but because it's the right thing to do. Perhaps we're not just evolving technologically, perhaps we're evolving ethically. Perhaps we'll remember how it felt to be small, how it felt to be afraid, and how it felt to look up. Maybe humanity will surprise itself, and I hope it does. Let's imagine for a moment that we are being watched, not in some paranoid science fiction surveillance kind of way, but observed from afar, quietly and carefully, the way scientists study an unpredictable predator before deciding whether it's safe to approach. What would intelligent alien life see when they looked at us? They'd see a species capable of great cruelty, wars waged for pride and profit, ecosystems destroyed in the name of convenience, entire peoples displaced or erased by expansion. They'd see us split into factions, waving flags and drawing borders on a planet that was never ours to divide. But they'd also see something else. They'd see us risk our lives to save strangers. They'd see our music, our art, our stories, our capacity for grief, for love, and for sacrifice. They'd see us land rovers on distant worlds, not to claim them, but to learn from them. They'd see astronauts looking back at Earth and weeping, not from fear, but from awe. They'd see complexity. We are not one thing, and we never were. Maybe that's what will define us. Not our wars or wonders alone, but the fact that we contain both. Maybe the question isn't whether we are the baddies. Maybe it's whether we choose to be. Maybe out there somewhere far beyond our reach, there are debates happening right now. One voice arguing that we are dangerous, violent, and incapable of change, and another pointing to our music, our mercy, and our dreams. Maybe they watch us the way we watch wildlife, knowing we are beautiful, but unpredictable. Maybe they're waiting for the day we tip the scale, not because they fear us, but because they hope for us. Thank you for listening. I'm still new to this and still shaping the signal I want to send into the void. If something in this made you stop and think, I'm grateful you stayed with me. If you have thoughts, questions, or your own theories, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear them. And if you'd like to join me for more strange questions and uncomfortable answers, you're more than welcome to subscribe. I'm the Omega Signal, and I hope you'll join me again.